You're filming a wedding and you have 2 minutes to fly your drone before the ceremony starts. And with a traditional drone, you're lucky if you're getting 1 or 2 usable shots because you have to take off, dial in all your settings, get the angle and positioning just right before you hit record for all of 1 minute before you need to land again. But what if instead you could get all of your drone coverage done and film all of your establishing shots that you could ever need in just 2 minutes? That's where the sponsor of this video, Anti-Gravity, and their A1 drone comes in, because in late 2025, this drone went on sale as the world's first drone with an 8K 360-degree camera, enabling you to fly first and then handle all of your framing and camera composition in post. In this video, we're going to talk about how well this drone can fit into a professional workflow like wedding or corporate videography, where you often don't have a lot of time when filming and you have to get a shot very quickly. Even better, Anti-Gravity has released some really big updates for this drone in the last 6 months since it's launched, and we have to talk about them too, because in my opinion, this drone is significantly improved over how it was when many people posted their initial reviews of it. Let's start by talking about what I'll call the old workflow that you're probably used to as a filmmaker when flying a drone. You probably have one that has anywhere from 1 to 3 cameras on a gimbal that all face in one direction, meaning you have to frame your shot properly and be constantly thinking about composition and the angle that you are filming, which takes a lot of precision. Tell me if this sounds familiar. I personally remember having to repeat shots many times with my other drones because I was trying to rotate around an object while also tilting the camera, and there's a lot of room for error where if your finger slips, you're in trouble and you're going to need to film the shot again. But with the A1, the workflow takes a completely different and surprisingly easier mindset, because you will discover that a 360 camera drone is actually really liberating. You have the ability to completely adjust and reframe your shots in post. There's no gimbal to worry about keeping pointed in the right direction or angling precisely. No. All you have to think about is how close you want to be to your subject and the direction that you want to be flying. Literally everything else can be adjusted later when editing. In other words, on this camera drone, the camera ends up being one of the things that you have to think the least about. The first several times that I flew the A1, I found myself constantly rotating my head inside the goggles, trying to find the best angle and composition so that the shot looked good, because that's what I was used to when using a regular drone. But then you have to remind yourself, like I did many times, that it actually doesn't matter if your framing isn't perfect, because the camera is actually recording everything at all times and it can always be reframed. Now, speaking of the orientation of the drone, one of the biggest flaws that a lot of reviewers pointed out with this drone when it launched was that it only had forward and downward sensing obstacle avoidance sensors, which is kind of a weird omission for a drone with 360-degree cameras, but thankfully in April 2026, Anti-Gravity released a firmware update that adds full omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So no matter which direction you're flying with it, the drone is capable of either automatically braking if it gets too close to an obstacle, or it's smart enough to navigate around the obstacle as well, which can help keep your shots looking incredibly smooth. When I tested this, flying very close to some trees, the drone was very good about warning me about all the obstacles, and it consistently stopped before impacting anything. In short, if you are filming a wedding or corporate or commercial video where you need to take off and fly quickly, the obstacle avoidance is going to help you still be able to fly safely while helping you get the shots that you need even quicker, which is great. Plus, if you ever do crash, not only does the A1 have replaceable lenses, Anti-Gravity also has US-based repair centers that offer a great return and repair service if you ever need it. This drone is also a lot of fun to fly, which, don't get me wrong, I still feel like all drones are fun, but this one in particular with the immersive goggles is truly a joy to use. While flying, I found myself forgetting that I was standing in a field. The headset is comfortable and truly took over my senses, and it really gave me a feeling of flying, which was so cool. I know we are talking about the A1 for professional work, but if you are looking for a drone that you could bring along while traveling to get some fun shots, this is a great choice. Battery life is also good with the A1, with the standard batteries hitting about 24 minutes of flight time, and the high-capacity batteries, which do push the weight above 249 grams, hitting 39 minutes.
Remembering that it will take you less time to get shots because of the 360 camera, I never found myself wishing I had more battery life, even with the standard batteries.
Now, otherwise, as far as control updates go, there is another very useful one that Anti-Gravity added in April, but let me provide you with some context first. Confession, I am a left-handed person, which is my cross to bear. But whenever it comes to flying the A1, just like with most camera gear, it's all kind of built with right-handed people first in mind. If you are right-handed, all of the buttons on the controller are extremely easy for you to access and press. But if you are left-handed like me, you're going to notice that some of them are covered up by your hand, like the sport mode switch, etc., which is a bit of a bummer. That said, I have good news for you, especially if you're left-handed like me, or maybe you don't like this style of controller, which I have to say, once you get past the initial right-handedness of it, it's a joy to use. But even better, for not only me as a left-handed filmmaker, but for everyone else, Anti-Gravity also added voice control in their latest firmware update. And this has usually been kind of a gimmick for camera drones and action cameras. A lot of my cameras have voice control, but I don't use it. But it's different with this one because this is a drone that you wear a headset with. And whenever you're wearing these vision goggles, you are cutting off one of your senses, your vision. And so there's something really liberating about being able to press a button on the controller and being able to use the built-in voice assistant to command the drone to do things. You don't have to fumble around and make sure that you're pressing the record button. You can just press the home button, which is very easy to find, and then tell the drone to start or stop recording with your voice. You can even tell it to take off. Anyways, though, all of these updated controls and features and the novelty of flying in 360 wouldn't matter if the image quality sucks, right? But the good news is that it doesn't suck. The A1 is capable of filming in 8K resolution, which, keep in mind, that is split between two camera sensors and stitched together. So we're not talking about ultra crispy oversampled footage that you would get with something like the A7R6 from Sony. But at the same time, this drone is still quite sharp and usable, especially if you're flying with enough light. I personally have found that the footage that I filmed with this drone at sunrise and sunset looks gorgeous. And overall, I think you're going to be really happy with the image quality that you get from this drone, and it should mix very well with the footage that you filmed with your other cameras. The only drawback that I found in regards to video is that there's not any flavor of log that can be recorded with these cameras, but we can hope that that could be added in a future firmware update, because that would make matching this drone footage to your other camera footage even easier. Speaking of camera footage, we need to talk about the editing process of this footage as well. If you've used any other 360 cameras like those from Insta360, this is going to be a very familiar process for you, and that this drone records a proprietary 360-degree video format that you will need to use specific software for when editing. Thankfully, you can either edit this footage on your phone or on your computer, and for working professionals, I recommend using the Anti-Gravity Studio app on your computer, because with that app, you have a ton of control how your footage will look. You can adjust everything from the width and the angle to the zoom level, plus use very intuitive keyframes and presets to get some very cool and unique shots. Even better, you can also export the videos recorded with this drone in full 8K resolution in ProRes 422, which will guarantee you have the highest video quality whenever you go to edit your video in your editing software. Let me know if you'd like to see my full workflow for how I do this, because I have it down pretty quick now and can basically guarantee very high quality results. Now, going back to that initial premise at the start of this video, even if you only have 2 minutes to record with this drone, whenever you combine the A1's ease of use and enhanced safety with the new 360-degree obstacle avoidance, and then consider just how many shots you're going to be able to get with it, because you have so much control when reframing in post, I think that the Anti-Gravity A1 makes a lot of sense for you to consider incorporating this drone into your professional workflow. I'll link to where you can get the Anti-Gravity A1 for the absolute best price down in the video description if you want to check it out.
And Anti-Gravity is also running their biggest sale of the year at the time of posting this video. You can get 25% off the drone and save up to $480, plus get some free accessories that will all be linked below.
And while you're down there, I'll also link to my edit videos like a pro guide. This This guide is going to show you my biggest rules that I follow as a video editor, and it will help you immediately level up your video editing, regardless of whether you use DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, or Final Cut, etc. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video and consider subscribing if you want to see more about filmmaking, and have a great day.